Hello, welcome back. So you'll know from the previous videos that entering IP addresses and the subnet masks and making sure they're accurate is a bit of a faff. And if you think about it, if you connect a new device to your home network, you never have to type in any numbers. It automatically configures it for you. So that actually is Dynamic Host Control Protocol, or DHCP. And it's extremely useful because it's very convenient. It allows us to connect devices that we didn't know were going to be wanting to connect to our network automatically and configure them automatically. So if you think about it, if you go into Starbucks or Nero's or wherever and you want to connect to their Wi-Fi, you don't need all your IP details. What would be much better if there was a system that had a bank of IP addresses which it could loan out to computers that needed them and provide automatic configuration. And that's what DHCP is. So I've got a blank canvas here. So let's drag out some computers. So these are to resemble the devices connecting perhaps to like a coffee shop network. And yes, we're using wires in Filius because it doesn't support wireless, but it doesn't matter. The principle is exactly the same. So we'll have a switch. And what we'll do is we will have a computer, in this case, which is going to act as a DHCP server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure the details for this. Let's go with 192.168. I'm going to make the DHCP server number 2. And in fact, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put DHCP server there, and I'm actually just going to write its IP address in. Now, on your home network, your multifunction device, which is a wireless access point, a router and a switch, and a modem, that also has built into a DHCP server that you can use, which you will use. Okay, so 192.168.0.2 gateway. Now, I haven't created a connection to another network yet, but I'm going to put one in. And I'm going to put in what is usually the default, 192.168.0.1. So I've put that in. Okay. Now, what I need to do then is I need to set up the DHCP server. So I'm making this a DHCP server. So, okay, lower bound of address. So now I need to specify the IP addresses that I want this server to dish out to computers that need them. So let's go 192.168. 0.3. Now I don't want it to give out number 1 because that's from a router. Don't want to give out number 2 because that's from a DHCP server. I want it to give out from 3 onwards. So 192.168, and I want it to give out IP addresses all the way up to 100. So that gives me between 3 and 100, essentially 97 different IP addresses that it could dish out. So if I had more than 97 devices, they would stop. Like it would run out of IP addresses to give out. It's not going to be a problem for this little network. And we've got a gateway, which is set as 192.168.0.1, which is what I configured before. So that's fine. And so I can tick the activate DHCP box. Okay, so now let's connect all of this stuff together. So what I'll do also is I'll say use DHCP for configuration and use IP address as name. Do that for each of these. There we go. Now it looks like it's given them all the same IP address, and you can see it doesn't fill in any of these details. In fact, it's blanked them all out now. You can see that it hasn't filled in a gateway or anything. So, okay, let's cable this up. So let's connect it all together like this. And let's connect, okay, the DHCP server. Okay, so when this network starts up, these computers which have been configured to use DHCP will send out a DHCP request asking for an IP address, and they'll send it out broadcast. It will get sent to all of these devices, including the DHCP server, and the DHCP server will assign each one of these computers an IP address. So for the duration that they're connected to the network, it will let them use that. So let's have a look at this. So as soon as I click play, watch the IP addresses here, and watch sort of like the green flashing cables. There we go. Did you see that? So what's happened then is the DHCP server has allocated a different IP address to each one, and it's also configured the gateway details as well. So it did that, and so therefore, of course, if I then now just go and connect another device, it would very easily, quickly just allocate another IP address as well. So let's just go on and extend this a little bit. So let's go to router. So we'll have two NICs, and okay, well, let's connect it to here. And then, so this is going to be our gateway to the outside world. So let's just go and then put, you can see it's got a red cable here, it shows this side's plugged in. So this is going to be 192.168.0.1. We know it doesn't give out the one address. And what we'll do is we'll say automatic routing, like that. Now we can configure a firewall and all sorts like that here as well, but we don't need to today. Okay, so let's just run that again. So there we go. Let me just see if I can, let's hover over my router. There we go. Right, let's see if I can actually ping the router. So ping 192.168.0.1. There we go. We can see it's replying. You can see the cable there flashing. Okay, so I could now go, using the knowledge from the previous video, I could now connect this network to another network, and in fact multiple networks. So I could go ahead and do that if I wanted. So there we go. That's how DHCP works in Filius, and again, that's how it works in the real world. Hope that's been interesting and useful to you. Why not have a go at making this network yourself? Okay, see you for the next video.